Boys and girls, 1 year ago, I uploaded Fatslob Nothing, and this is the second time we've done it. Now, as you can imagine, this is a game that could go on for quite a while. That's probably why we didn't do it that frequently, but here we are. And this map is in dedication to the legend who recently returned, who actually sent me a message as well. So maybe in a few weeks, maybe in a month, when I do another Fatslob video, I can read that message to you guys and tell you what he had to say. Because he's excited to be back, and now we are going to be chopping trees and busting down walls in dedication to him. Everyone in this game is Vikings. Surprise, surprise. And we have Schneider in the teal. In the blue, we have Des White. He's playing as... I'm so used to saying playing as this. Everyone's Vikings, alright? In the orange, we have Frang. In the green, we have Balky. This doesn't feel the same. In the yellow, we have Ninja Bunny. In the purple, we have Gimli. In the red, we have Sivad. And then in the gray, we have Oedipus. The name of the game here is to win by controlling the monument. It is a King of the Hill game played on fast speed. You start with a siege ram in the Dark Age. And then there's some trees around you, and that's about it. So there's no gold, there's no stone like most Nothing maps. There's a whole lot of fortified walls because, you know, Fatslob things. This would be a great time to use the T90 wall emote. So anyways, we're going to have some time. And as I just explained... Oh, here we go. Quiz for the chat. Which of these is a false T90 fact? 1. T90 started full-time streaming about 2 years ago. 2. T90 used the name Chicken once in a customer service job. 3. T90 casted a 13-hour game once. 4. T90 is one of 4 siblings. 5. T90's name is based on a shoe. 6. T90 and Dave have been together since the 10 viewer days. Yes, so one of those is false, I can confirm. I don't know which mod is stalking me enough to have all these details. But feel free to vote, and I guess we could talk about that then. So just to explain the walls, I believe the walls are Gaia walls. So they do not belong to anyone. So they'll just be gray, and that's why the minimap looks so ridiculous. It is unfair that some players have to chop through some more trees before their rams can access the walls, but, you know, it's a Fatslob thing, so. Interesting to see what people are voting on. Okay. I would never ever cast a 13-hour game. So I really like Nothing maps because this turns into what I call a podcast. And I get a lot of feedback from people on YouTube and Twitch who say the same. This is a great video for someone out there who hasn't been able to sleep recently. You're welcome. But we have a lot of time to talk about things. This is not Diplo, by the way. Oh, it is Diplo! Never mind! Wow, good thing we check on these things. So they can ally each other. Who won? Can you bring up... Can you bring up the poll results again? Who was it? We're testing the new poll system. We made some slight changes to it. Alright, you guys got it right. 4 is false. I am not one of 4 siblings. And also the shoe thing is very real. But the way it was worded was really good. Yep, I went full-time about 2 years ago. Named myself after a shoe and started from the bottom. Literally the bottom because of shoe. And here we are. Why the hell are you playing Fatslob Nothing? This is the worst map ever, says Filster. Well, Filster, it's because everyone has different opinions. Everyone has different likes and interests in life. And people voted for this. The chat that you were typing in right now voted for this. Think how many friends you've just lost. P90 is chicken? Oh, do you want me to tell the chicken story again? Alright, I'll tell the chicken story. Whoa! Oh, that was intentional. Frang hit feudal age. Is now deleting his market so we can sell some wood. That's... Or delete... deleted his TC. Is building a market so we can sell some wood. Just like in other Nothing maps. Okay, so I'll tell you the story. So I used to work at a call center when I was 19, and it was for a company who I'm not really a huge fan of, named Comcast. It's like internet, TV, and all that stuff. And I worked in the billing department, which is the worst, because people just call and complain about their bills, and you have to try and help them through that process. So, I remember it was one morning, and it was one of my first calls, real early, and it was also in the winter, so I had to scrape ice off my car and shovel snow and then arrive at work at 8 a.m. So I'm grumpy, right? And so I answer the phone, I'm like, thank you for calling, blah, 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 this is Tristan, how can I help you? And I hated my life. And then on the other end of the line was this old man. He was like, chicken? He sounded a little bit southern as well. Our call center serviced a lot of different states. And I said, no, my name is Tristan. How may I help you? He's like, your name is Chicken? And at this point, I just had to run with it. He goes, well, I'll be Chicken. I've lived 78 years on this earth, and I've never spoken to a man named after a farm animal. And I just started dying. I went from Grumpy McGrumpygills to dying laughing. I had to mute my mic, my head's on the desk, and this poor old man needed help. It was something really dumb. Like, he called me to find out where the local service centers were. He could have just Googled it. But he was so old, he probably didn't even have a computer. And so anyways, I helped him out and everything. And he's like, well, thank you very much, Chicken. I can't wait to tell all my friends and family about this. So if you have a grandpa out there who tells that story every holiday, that was me that he spoke to. I remember we went back, you could listen to calls over again, and I told supervisors and stuff. Supervisors from different departments were listening to it. It was funny. But you know how grandparents are, right? They always tell like the same stories at big holidays because they forget they told you already. So there's probably some guy out there, if he's still kicking, telling that story. Okay, so some players are making progress, and honestly, if it is Diplo, it might not be the worst idea to ram your way to an ally to trade. And keep in mind, it is King of the Hill, so someone has to start this countdown eventually. Yeah, so that's the chicken story. I have some interesting memories from that job. Whoa! Oedipus's ram sound is already annoying 11. Yeah, it is. And Teal, who is the higher rated player in this game, is building his second TC, so he made it to Castle Age with a pretty quick time. T90, did you have a job before you started full-time? What did they say when you quit your job to cast a 20-year-old game? So that was an interesting one. So I, for the 2 to 3 years before I ended up doing this full-time, I worked a retail job, and I was pretty close to those people. Like basically when I was in college, I worked retail part-time, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, so I kind of stopped the college thing because of the expense of it, and then ended up getting hired on full-time at the place I was at. And so those people were really close to me, and I knew them well. But I never wanted to tell them, because if I ever... Not that I ever called out sick to stream, but if I were to ever be sick, my boss was the type of person who would be like, oh, I know about his YouTube channel, I know about his Twitch, let's check. Like, she was great, and, you know, I still would consider her, like I said, like, part of my family, but she was that type of person. So, I never really told them, and I worked full-time for years, and did this on the side, part-time, and, I wish I could have recorded her reaction when I told her that I was putting in my 2 weeks, and when I told her what I was going to do. Because, like, yeah, she was very surprised. She thought I was joking. I was like, hey, I need to put in my 2 weeks. Like, this is hard, but I gotta put in my 2 weeks. And she thought it was a joke. She thought I was kidding. And I explained to her I was serious, and then she said, what company are you going to? And I said, well, actually, funny story, I make YouTube videos. So, Yeah, that's pretty much how that went. They were very surprised. So, how are you doing, guys? And girls, maybe, says Ninja Bunny. And Gimle says, ramming away. Oof. Yep, ramming away. Gotta use that RAM. You need to get to the Imperial Age so they can download more RAM. More RAMs equals less Fatslob.
Your sign-off on Fatslob is back really connected with me. And now we are blessed by Fatslob Nothing. Take care T90 T90 Woo T90 Woo T90 Woo.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for the dono, Kim. $25. Wow. I forget what my sign-off was in that video, but I am glad that you guys feel the same about him, and I'm glad that you guys are glad that he's back. He did message me the day after the video. He posted on my profile publicly, and he said he was really happy with the new video. So apparently he listens to them all. But I was honestly worried. I was worried for a little while, like, oh my god, his reputation is out and he no longer enjoys the game. But he had a good time, so thank you, Deco, for 6 months. Yeah, so whoever created this map, I think his name is Teutonic Tanks, and he might still be in the chat. They made it so these walls are Gaia walls that don't auto-convert. You might be familiar with Gaia buildings and Gaia units converting to whoever collects them, but that's not the case here. So this map belongs to Gaia. However, it does not change, the walls do not change to the person's color. Obviously, if the walls change to someone's color, they could just delete them, and that would kind of ruin the point. What's the record for clearing all walls from the map? Oh, I have no clue. No clue. I don't think that will be a new world record. There is one small thing, and this would be my mistake. We're playing with the current balance, so it is possible that if someone gets to Onager, they might be able to cut the trees. I think that'd be a mistake, though, because there's so few trees. But yeah, they might be able to do that because I had them use the current balance with it. There's no gold, but there are relics. There's actually quite a few relics around if you look, but it's not easy to see on the minimap. I could have given them the map on the old balance, but we would have had to retransfer it, and I didn't want to waste time. Didn't want to waste time, says the guy who's 28 game time minutes into this game, and nothing has really happened yet. Oh, it's Regicide too! Did I really just pick up on the fact it's Regicide? I don't know why I didn't think about talking about that. Not that it changes much, but there's kings. Surprise. So, Deco, question for you, if you're still out there. Are you going to be around in... Actually, probably not, right? Because you're from Europe. In maybe 2-3 hours? I wanted to have a brief conversation with you regarding the timeline of the super secret thing that you know about. If you'll be around, that'd be great. I think Teal is going to be the first one to get to the monument. That's just my guess. He already has a battering ram. He probably could go to the Imperial Age now and get a siege ram and make his own. It'll take some time, though. Can you imagine if this wasn't King of the Hill, though? Oh, it'd be brutal. At least once someone gets to the center, the countdown will start, and that will force aggression. What was the map with Gaia unique units scattered around? That just popped into my head. I forget, but I think that was called Unique Unit Utopia. Do you guys remember the upload? It was called Legend... I think it was Huskarl Jr. Nothing. Do you guys remember that? I just stumbled upon that video again recently. That was a really good game. It was a really good game. And I love how we had a video that was dedicated for Huskarl Jr. after that one upload. Still cannot get over those guys with those lands nomad free-for-alls. It's ridiculous. I went back and I looked at the analytics, and there was a fair amount of people who watched that video almost the whole way through. There's a different area where I can analyze things in a little bit more detail, and there were people who watched the full 7 hours, which is pretty crazy. I mean, there weren't a lot of you. Some people did do a bit of skipping, but if I could give people credit by username for that stuff, which is impossible, I would. That was pretty cool. Theoretical Farcist, welcome back for 16 months. Alright, Deco, that sounds good. T90, did you know you have followers from North Africa? I'm probably the only one. There are some really obscure countries, some countries that would surprise you when I go to my analytics. Some of them make me think that it might be VPNs, but there are definitely a bunch of countries out there that just have one viewer, which is cool. I don't know, it's crazy to me that I have people from so many different countries, because the world's so huge, and it really unites people from all over the world. It's cool stuff. North Korea, oh yeah, we have tons of North Korean viewers. I never looked, but I don't think I've ever seen North Korea before. Okay, so T will be in the Imperial Age next. Balky is actually making a Mangonel, which I don't think will help him. Oh, please don't kill your ram. What if he attacks this piece of wall and he damages his own ram? Don't do that. Maybe he's thinking of going for Onager and chopping the trees. But yeah, Schneider, he's going to be the MVP here. 81 villagers. Captram already in. Seadram he'll probably save up for. Slow and steady. T90 on geography, the world is so huge. Well, I mean, so for example, my older brother was in India 2 weeks ago, and he told me that he would meet people and they would want to know his interests. Like, hey, what do you like to do? And so my brother would say that he likes video games. And they would say, what game? And when he would say Age of Empires, a lot of people knew that. Now, what's interesting about that to me is, for the most part, if you were to mention Age of Empires to people, they're going to say they know the game, but many people don't play or watch the game anymore. So when my brother spoke to people in India, they remembered the game, they used to play the game, they do not play or watch the game anymore. And that actually, that was common for me as well with events like TwitchCon. Variety of streamers there, or Fortnite streamers and League streamers, and there are a few scattered around that do some more classic games, but I would say, like, hey, I stream Age of Empires 2, and they would be like, no way, that's crazy. And it's kind of probably similar for you guys as well. You guys stumbled upon me over the last few years, but you probably didn't think there was a community. Certainly didn't think there was a community who would play weird settings like this. Oh wow, Teal has found Gray. And he says, sorry. And Oedipus says, oh no, I digged through to Teal. Whoops, that's the wrong person to find. Click wall! You could just wall, buy some stone, wall up again. Or they could ally. Your brother says he plays Age. I thought he played it only on your 24-hour stream. That's true. The last 3 times my brother has played Age of Empires 2 in the last 5 years were my 3 24-hour streams. But he does watch, he does lurk. He doesn't play Age as much anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Philster, that's a good point. That's a good point. Deswide says, this is such a big mess. And Balky says, just how Fatslob likes it. And Gim says, a beautiful mess. I mean, I would hate to play this. Keep in mind that this was not my evil idea. Everyone who's watching, well, not everyone, but a higher percentage of people watching actually voted this in. But that's what makes me so incredibly positive for the future of Age 2. in terms of the player base numbers and the viewership numbers, because there are millions of people who used to play this, tens of millions probably, and people who know the game. It's not like this is a new game and we don't know how it's going to catch on. That's not what it is. We know that the game was popular at one point. Also, and you guys might disagree with me on this, but I'm pretty sure, I think there's a huge desire for games that aren't all instant gratification. Like, look at the popular games now, and it's all, oh, I understand what's going to happen immediately, and it's very easy for me to understand the game within the first 10 minutes. Whereas Age, the game develops more slowly, there's a lot more strategy, and it takes a lot more time. And I think there's a huge desire for that, at least for me. I don't really enjoy games that don't have a lot of thought behind it. But everyone's different. I just can't help but feel that there are people out there who really desire a real strategy game, and they just don't think there is one out there. Could be wrong, though. You gotta keep in mind, I'm an Age-only guy. So... there are new games that might have more strategy. But when I say the newer big games, I'm talking the games that you see at the top of viewership right now. Like, mainly a lot of the Battle Royale games, a lot of the shooters, things of that nature. Okay, so Schneider is trying to be a nice guy. He says, go more that way, longer route. Yes. Okay, so they're both ramming away. Oh, they're making trade too. Oh man. Oh, thank you, these players. Thank you to these players for suffering for us. Try to go to a bar and hit up girls saying you are into Age play. Nah, no thank you. No thank you, Macho. I appreciate the awful tip, though. Would a Mangonel be better than Rams with all these walls? No, it definitely would not. Siege Rams are the way to go. It just takes a lot of time. I think fortified walls are overpowered, especially because in an actual competitive game, it's only something like 200 wood and 300 food to get your stone walls to fortified walls. It's really cheap for what it gives you. This is an extreme example, and as extreme as it gets, but yes, expected. If you're Foodman CBI, you would make only skirmishers versus the fortified walls, indeed. The struggle is just keeping all your rams working. That's the problem. I'm looking at Yellow, for example, and some of his rams are just sitting there. So, you could patrol them. Patrol them on attack stance. That does work, but it could be problematic with walls. Blue base, no wood. Oh, that's true. He doesn't really have wood to chop. Oh my god. Oh, he's getting close. He can't see it yet, though. Okay, he can see this one. I guess he also has allies to see where some things are located. T90 official, if you could create a cheat for AoE 2, what would you make? And what would its code be? A cheat. I mean, my first thought was something salmon related, but I'll have to think about that. And you know how there's a Cobra car for land? There's nothing for water. We could make like a destructive salmon. What would you type though? I don't know. Balky makes an excellent point. He says, just remember, this is King of the Hill. Yes. Honestly, back to our conversation about if onagers or rams would be better. If you had enough onagers, it might be easier to use them. But you would need like 15, 20 of them, and then just attack around here and damage a wider space. Yeah, this is... Oh wait, no, he can't chop the trees. No, he can chop the trees. What happened there? This is cheating, Balky, but it's my fault because we did the the old balance. Or the new balance, rather. Eat my salmon? I don't know. How do you cook this fish? Instead of how do you turn this on, how do you cook this fish? Hey, what's up, Habis? Bear, alright, that's fine, that's fine. Hey guys, what was that commercial where the guy fights a bear for a salmon? Do you guys remember that? I was talking to someone about this recently, and I don't remember if it was a beer commercial or a salmon commercial. What was it a commercial for? I think it was alcohol, right? Ducks, I can't click the link. Can you tell me what it was for? Do you remember that? Jack Lynx. Some people are saying John West. Is that a drink? I have no clue what that is. Is that a type of salmon? Is it... Like, what is it advertising? Is it jerky? Or what is it? It's salmon? Canned salmon, okay. I mean, I remember that commercial. Salmon paste. Ugh. Gross. Well, Schneider is doing a very nice job here. He's ramming down the walls. Oedipus is helping. He's snagging relics. 4 relics now. Has some trade as well. It's a good Diplo work between these two. Might see the same over on this side. Ninja Bunny could work with Purple. Actually, they're not going to work together because Purple just rams down Yellow's barracks, so that tells me they're not allied. Okay, so if they were to chop these trees, they're almost there. It's really not that bad. Remember, it's on fast speed, okay? It's on fast speed. It's not that bad. Half the people on YouTube have me at 2 times speed anyway. And if I'm not on 2 times speed, I probably sound like I'm high to you. So, that is a real concern for me. There's so many YouTube-only people who feel so weird about real me if they stop by a stream. And I can't fix that. How do I fix that? I can't do it. I have to disable the 2 times speed and lose that part of my audience. Or I just talk way faster in general, which I feel like I already do talk fast most of the time. Have you guys ever gone to watch something that's copyrighted, but it's uploaded to YouTube at a different speed? You see that with comedy sketches a lot. They upload it at half speed or 2 times the speed, and then you have to slow it down. Yeah. It's an interesting way to avoid copyright. That's what we need to do with Baby Shark. So they stop taking my YouTube monies. They stop demonetizing me. It just gotta be Baby Shark do, and then it's done.
5 months to go to Unity salute.
Redneck Chemist, thank you. 7 months, man. Subbing strong, thank you. Badfink as well, thank you for the prime sub. Smelly Teabag, thank you for all the bits, man. He says, waiting for my prime sub, should be any day soon. First time donating, is this how it works? It is, dude, it is. Thank you for that. I like how he's going for scorpions. If anyone makes anything but rams, onagers, and scorpions, and trebs, I'll be disappointed. And berserks, of course. But no arbalests allowed, no champions allowed, alright? They're very close. Where is it? They're getting closer to the center. I still get people tagging me in different things, I guess if they see a tweet or a Facebook post. Like, at T90 official. The one that was popular were the guys in the US Army doing the Baby Shark. That was pretty funny. Scorpions would take some real time to kill the walls. Honestly, your best bet is going to be the rams. Or a lot of onagers. I watch from YouTube since I'm in Australia, so just use Prime subs since I'm never on Twitch. Thank you, Smelly Teabag. There's a lot of people who do that. And I know that it might not be as, what's the word? There might not be that closeness to subscribing if you're doing it when I'm not here, but I see it, man. I see it. There's a lot of people who do that. I have 2-year-plus subscribers who just stop by and give that free Amazon Prime sub. It means a lot. Who in here watches Twitch outside of T90? Alright, Dwell wants to know that. I imagine people probably watch other things on Twitch. I know a lot of people started on Twitch, mainly because of my content. I'm not sure. I would probably say a decent amount. See some no's, see some yeses in there. So, Twitch kind of replaced TV for me in a lot of ways. Now, since I'm an Age of Empires streamer and player and all that stuff, I will stop by a lot of other streams. I can't say I watch with a lot of focus on those other streams all the time, but I do stop by. And then there are some other things that I'll occasionally watch, but I think for a lot of people, Twitch has kind of replaced TV for them. Which makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, Netflix is what, $15 a month now? And subscribing to your favorite streamer on Twitch is $5 a month. And there's more consistent, new, fresh content too, so makes sense. So we have a Fatslob fight, and Purple broke the golden rule, man. He's making pikemen! You can't make pikemen on Fatslob Nothing, he'll get destroyed. Probably doesn't have the gold to do much, so he figures pikemen or skirmishers, any trash units possible. And Ninja has just outplayed him. He has 2 relics to Purple's 2 relics, but he has quite a few scorpions and rams here. Hey T90, just got off work and got to catch your stream. Thanks for the content. You're welcome, Marcus. I actually do watch my own streams semi-regularly. Like, I like to listen to them, and then I determine if I feel like I did a good enough job for it to go to YouTube. How do you watch T90? Desktop, laptop, phone, tablet, TV, /app. I guess it depends, right? Because for me, I use 4 out of those 5. So if you can only vote for one, it's gonna be rough. Sean says 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So Oedipus and Schneider are leading the way to the center. Blue and orange are trading over here. Blue has pretty much a straight shot. He's on his way. I use them and Xbox too. Nice. I got an Xbox a few months back just because I wanted a console so I could play like 4K Blu-rays on, or 4K. Are they still Blu-rays if they're 4K? I think they are. I also got Halo, and I'm honestly kind of disappointed with the current Halo matchmaking in the Anniversary Edition, because I want to play some of my favorite maps in multiplayer and they're not available. That really killed the multiplayer for me, because I'm pretty trash now. I haven't played in a long time. But I really liked maps like Ascension, for example, and there's no multiplayer for it, which is kind of a bummer. Ascension was one of my favorite maps. I get it, from a competitive standpoint, it might not be very good for multiplayer, but I kind of miss it. Halo 1 is the greatest game ever, sorry, AoE 2. I mean, they're close for me, man. I feel like AoE 2 has more... playability? That's kind of obvious coming from me, but I guess it depends. There are plenty of people who love Halo and still play Halo. Alright, so Purple could die to this. Oh, Oedipus is talking. Oedipus is blue. I'm only writing to you. Listen. I will want to turn on teal eventually. We'll need your help then. Okay. I mean, they cannot access each other right now. Teal is a very strong player, so that makes sense. I feel like Oedipus is doing pretty good, though. He has resources, he has relics. He'll have 4 relics in a second. He has trade with Teal. T90, for this map, since there are no islands, which is the best spot to build 3 archer ranges? Screw you. Screw you. Yeah, depth is a good word to explain that. Yeah, it's true. Hey, Lidacor. I just want Halo, COD, and BF to go back to being unique instead of carbon copies of each other. Interesting, White Sammy. Gotcha. Halo was my first multiplayer experience. I remember, what is it called, Xbox Live, right when that came out. I remember my parents didn't want me to get that, or they just didn't want to pay for whatever it was at the time, so I'd go over to a buddy's place and play some Halo on Xbox Live. It was such a surreal experience for me. Hey, Guardian Angel, hello, man. What is this mess of a map? I don't know, it's something like, they call it Arabia? I think it's Arabia. It looks like Arabia. Yeah, it's still called Xbox Live. I was just bummed because I'm pretty bad at the game. Because I don't play it anymore, right? You have to put a lot of time into it. But so I wanted maps I was familiar with, and it was just a bunch of maps in the multiplayer pool that I'm not familiar with, which is kind of a bummer. It actually made me relate to people, because I have people come to AOE2 Twitch chat all the time and say like, hey, you know, I'm having trouble getting into it, and I kind of get it because it could be so foreign to you. But the beautiful thing about AOE2 is all levels can be fun for different reasons. So you just need to find someone who's also just as fresh as you, and you can have a real good time. Who is the #1 AOE2 player in the UK? I feel like people in the UK need a tournament to decide that, man. Because there's a few. I mean, personally, I would probably say Hallis nowadays. There's a 2K player named Hallis. You have Hallis. You have... Whoa! That's a lot of onagers for Balky. Maybe he will go the onager route. There's Hallis. There's a guy named T. If you watch the Persian Douche Challenge video, T was in that in the 2v2 team game. Daywalker plays Deathmatch, though. Zero Empires isn't even close. The UK does have a few 2K/2K1 players. But who's the best between them? It's hard to say because they don't play each other head-to-head a lot. I think I would say Hallis. Especially because Hallis has really improved this year. So Hallis, T, and then... Oh, Sting as well. So actually, I have a lot of history with T and Sting. And they might actually be the same person because he might play on different accounts. But I remember he was significantly better than me back in the HD days before I ever made the move to Voobly. And he was playing on Voobly as well at the time. And so I was like, I hit 2K on HD and I was feeling really good about myself. I said, I'm going to go to Voobly. And he said, just curious, like, what rating do you think you're going to hit when you go to Voobly? And I remember I said 1800. It took me like a year and a half, 2 years to ever get 1800 Voobly. It took a long time. But yeah, I think someone from the UK needs to organize a tournament for the people in the UK. I mean, I don't know how much exposure it'd get. I mean, I wouldn't shy away from casting some of the later stages, but that'd be pretty cool to see. T90, have you talked about Escape closing down yet? Sorry if I missed it. Keen to hear your thoughts. No, I haven't really talked about it a lot, mainly because it's not like a tournament where, okay, the tournament doesn't go so hot, and then you can create another tournament. Like, the escape thing definitely affected people's lives, right? Because you had people working at the studio and people that I've known for years as well. So I don't want to be that guy where I say I told you so, or say that I kind of saw it and didn't expect it to work long term, because even though that's realistic, I think that could also be kind of rude. So I guess the best way to word it is I really appreciate the place that Escape has had in the game. because for the past few years, they've really been... oh, we have a big fight here. Big fight between Frang and between Blue, but I think Blue will end up cleaning him up. But, I mean, I think Escape as an organizer was always, like, that was their best place. But when so I heard about the potential of the studio happening before, like months before. It was discussed, I discussed it with Zach, and when I heard kind of what they were looking to achieve in terms of viewership and stuff, I never thought it was realistic. Like for me, for example, my viewership was achieved after 4 to 5 years of consistent content and building my own community. And if you, like, no one can expect to be a successful full-time streamer alone in less than a few years. And then to also have to sustain studio cost, not only pay for a large studio, but for people's wages, it just never made any sense. So you know, like I said, I do feel bad for the guys because I obviously know them quite well. But at the same time, realistically speaking, I kind of felt like it might be a struggle for them. Also, I kind of feel like LANs are slightly overrated. It's a lot of work, a lot of money to make them happen. Can be really cool. But LAN events, you have... Like, for me, a lot of the casters and players get sick. There's different time zones, so they might not even be performing their best. There's a lot of things that go into that. But yeah, that's basically it. Like I said, out of respect for them, I didn't really want to talk about it too much. So, interesting developments over here. I'm not sure who picked the fight, but I think it was Frang who decided to attack Blue. Berserk v Berserk. And Blue is winning this fight, for sure. A sign that he is winning is that Frang does not even have Heavy Scorpion. And Frang is making Pikemen against Berserks and Heavy Scorpion, so... I think Death Wide has the lead there. These fights are distracting from the attempts to get to the center, though. Balky's making a beeline there right now. So maybe Balky will be the one to start the countdown. Oedipus is still ramming his way. Yeah, he's actually the closest. And then... Yes. A Ninja says, do you want to join us, Green? So I guess... At this point, Yellow has decided to ally Purple and they're working together and Green is going to join them. So, I mean, this looks like Fatslob stuff. Onagers, Scorpions, choke points, man. Habit says, T90, wouldn't you say that the atmosphere in LANs is something different? It's definitely different, but I don't think it's a sustainable... I don't think it's very sustainable within Age of Empires right now. There's a lot of factors, but for example, I was flown out there, and it was all volunteer work from there, so it's not sustainable to ask casters like myself to be there 14 hours a day, and fly halfway across the world and do those types of things with the current Age landscape. If you look at League, if you look at these other games, they have an organizer who essentially has paid casters and say a team to do it, and they don't have their own streams. I actually feel like the beauty of AoE 2 is that we have so much individual personality because we have these different streams and YouTubes. It's very different. I mean, and then you have to look at the cost of all that, right? The cost of the flights, the cost of that, and... It's rough. It's complicated. It's very complicated. But yeah, it certainly has a more personal feel, in a sense. Okay, so they're chatting. Schneider says, should we go for blue and orange, Oedipus? He says, or we can try and have better trade with them. Dangerous game, though. And Schneider says they have been fighting already. So remember, earlier Gray said to Blue that he wants to use Blue to help him against Teal. Teal doesn't seem to know about that. As Schneider says, not sure if we can rely on so many players to have safe trade. Yeah, I think they should just stick together. I think once the countdown starts, more and more players will be pressured to get to the middle. It's kind of a concern, actually. that these two players have been fighting and not focusing on the center. You also had the same with yellow and purple for a little while. Yeah, that's true, Deco. That's true, man. I don't know, I feel like, so I have a lot of theories and lots of things I can talk about, but if it's something that involves others and not just me, sometimes I kind of shy away from those talking points because I don't... The sad thing is, guys, if there's 99.9% of people who are not looking for me to say things wrong, there's always that 0.01% of people out there who are going to try and use something against me in some way, which is a pain in the ass, so I normally just shut up. Even if I'm being honest about something and being constructive.
8 months down. Here's to 8 more.
Harry, what's up, man?
Off your pills and have chosen to cast Fatslob Nothing again.
Yes, well, the chat was off their pills, man. The chat's off their meds. They voted for this, and I've enjoyed this. I need these games for a community game day where I can just relax a bit. Frank says, we good, and Blue says, we cool. Oh, man, but think about it, Blue. How beautiful would it be to see Scorpions destroy Pikemen? Frank says, for the record, I didn't want to. I did it for T90. Okay. So he did it for action and excitement. We're so close. 1 hour, 43 minutes in. Now that's game time and fast speed, so it's not too bad. I really wish that Balky... I guess it's just like Fatslob to not use your onagers for attack and just use them for defense. But I really wish that he would have been using his onagers on these walls. He's just been using one single ram. It's a very neat path, though. This is exactly like Fatslob. Teal doesn't trust you, be careful. Okay, so this is what Gray is saying to Blue right now. And that is correct. Teal says, okay, we go now. Well, look at Teal's resources. He has 10,000 gold. He has 3 castles. He has 11 relics. He has trade. And he is the higher rated player here. So if he truly wants to kill Blue, I think he could do it if it's a 1v1. Could be different if Gray is fighting from the other side. How about you guys start the countdown first? I feel like Teal should allow Gray to focus on the countdown. Green is slowly getting there. T90, if the DE version is really bad, is there a chance for the new civs and changes to come to AOC? Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I mean, if Definitive Edition is really bad, then... just like when the HD edition was really bad, the new civs would come to Voobly with the same patch we're using now. So there's, I don't think there's any worries there. Mytho, you're welcome for the gifted sub, man. I didn't choose you. I did it randomly, but I still love you. I hope you enjoy. My pleasure. Deco, they started with 1 ram in Dark Age. It was 1 siege ram, and there were a lot more walls. And there were some areas with trees. Ethan, I wasn't really throwing shade to HD. There's a difference between throwing shade and talking facts. Right? I mean, the reality was the expansions were out for 2 years, but pros would never play them because it was on the HD platform and the lack of performance features there. And then pros started playing it once this mod called Wololo Kingdoms came out, and it was moved to Voobly. So I imagine it would be the same thing. Will Capture Age work with Definitive Edition? So I can only speak to what is public. There has been no public information about that, but this is what I foresee with that. You guys are asking questions that are going to be in YouTube videos soon. But what I imagine is it probably will not work at the start, and then that will be something that will be missed and prioritized soon after. That's the way I see it. But again, there's no official information on that. At least that's public. Okay, so we're so close. Oedipus is so close. And we are about to see a big old fight on this side. I can guarantee you that. Yep, here we go. So teal turns on blue. It's about to go down. Now will Oedipus help blue because he said he would earlier? Or is he instead just gonna chill out and focus on winning with the monument countdown? Age of Empires 4 says, just got here. What did I miss? Conversation, a lot. Fatslob, nothing. Just a bunch of walls going down. And a bugged overlay, which I'll probably remove now. We're talking about definitive edition things. All across the board. Will Capture Age be available in DE? So I have a few videos planned where I discuss these things. My hope, I mean, it all depends on other parties actually doing their part and joining me, but my hope is to get some people from Microsoft, Forgotten Empires to discuss these things, and I'm working on one that's definitely going to happen. And so not only can I give my thoughts, but you can get some thoughts and information from people who are involved in the game. Okay, so Fatslob has shown us that Scorpions, Berserks, Onagers is the way to go. Blue has units, but they're clumped up, stuck back here in the traffic jam. Oedipus will chop through the trees, which is so anti-Fatslob. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry, because this would have gone even longer if they couldn't Onager through the trees. And the countdown will start. So if Gray wants to, he could just abandon blue, let teal kill him, and go for the win himself if he really wanted to. Now, reopening the overlay doesn't fix it, SA. There was one video which happens to have a lot of views where it just fixed for us randomly. And people remember that and they keep telling me to do it, but no, it doesn't. It normally doesn't work that way, sadly. It has to do with when people are changing their diplomatic stances with each other. So that affects it in some way, and I'm still not sure what does it. You know what would be great? Yeah, Gray is going to Fatslob. He got to the center, and now he's going to wall more. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just make more walls for teal to ram down. How close is Balky? Balky is very close. Does he not know that he can use onagers to chop those trees? Because he's making a lumber camp right now. Oh, orange is coming this way. Okay. Well, props to orange and blue for working together. Though I think blue is going to die. And orange isn't helping him, but props to blue for letting orange live, I guess. Oh, Ninja says only 500 years. Shit. Oh no. That time will go a lot faster than you think. And blue says rip me. Orange shouldn't even save him. Orange shouldn't even save him. Oh my god. The king is blocked. Does he realize his king is blocked? I think he clicked his king over here, but the king will not path to safety. Oh, now he's deleting his buildings. Teal doesn't realize. Okay, so the king will survive for now. Balky said stream must be bored like the time he plays 3 archer ranges on a tiny island. Oh my god, Balky. I know who I'm not rigging into games next time. Do you guys think it'd be funny to make a video on that? Find the recorded game and show my failure to all of YouTube? Or do you prefer the meme when less people know about it? Do you want the video? Oh, the scorpions! That was sick. Oh man. Everyone's gonna get destroyed by teal. Except for gray. See, there's a difference between these walls. You see, these walls are Gray's walls that he has placed. These are the Gaia walls that the game started with, so he's walling up a lot. Building a castle. He could do this with just rams. Orange can't get to the center to help now because teal's going to wipe him up. The longer orange holds on, the more of a chance that gray has to do it. Alright, I don't know if the recorded game is available. I'll have to look, okay? I'll have to look, and maybe that's a video idea for the near future. So, back then when I was streaming it, I streamed myself playing that game, and I was dying laughing for like 2 solid minutes, but we didn't have many people back then, so many of you guys weren't there for that moment, but I really wish that would have been clipped. That was before Twitch clips existed. I would have had to do a highlight. Gray is doing digging his own grave. He needed to help blue and orange. Now it's too late, and teal will smoke everyone. I don't disagree. I don't agree with you, because I think that he would have gotten smoked had he tried to help. Look at his resources. He has 13,000 gold, tons of food. I think that this is his best chance. Problem is, there's still 430 years, and more players are on the way, so it won't just be a 1v1 between he and teal. But I think if he would have tried to help orange and tried to help blue, it would have inconvenienced him more than helped him. And then there's no guarantee that blue and orange wouldn't just maintain their alliance later and turn on gray, you know, once teal was out of the picture. Whereas this is a guarantee. It's a guarantee that he can get the center and hold it and fortify it. Yeah, they're gonna get there. They would get there a whole lot faster, these guys, if they would cut through the trees. But they think it's true Fatslob settings. So they're chopping through the trees with villagers instead. But he didn't he onager the trees earlier, chat? I swear he onagered a few trees. Maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe he didn't realize. Remember, there is no siege onager. Oh, you know what would be amazing is if he did an attack round on purple's trade cards, just flatten them. Oh, tempting. Okay, and teal says, use gray. So he's telling gray to use something. Ah, some arbalest, okay. From his 3 archer ranges. Do you prefer streaming or just straight recording? Nowadays, I like them both for different reasons. I like to interact with people, I like to answer questions, and I feel like when I'm streaming, I'm more personable. I'm just not some random dude in a room talking. I also feel like dedicated YouTube commentary has a real place because I can highlight strategies more. And I can have some more in-depth conversation about the strategies. That's also only because I've seen the games previously. Like, there's a lot of talk, and I remember back when I started doing YouTube-only content, there were people who would get annoyed and say, I don't like it when you know the result of the game, because you're spoiling it. However, when you're trying to analyze certain strategies, you almost have to start talking about it beforehand. It almost sets it up more like a story, so I think there's a time and a place for both of them. For tournaments, obviously, that's got to be something I cast on the fly. That would completely kill the hype if I knew it was happening, but if I want to analyze certain strategies and certain game modes and such, I think it's good for YouTube-only content. So I guess I like both for different reasons. But all you have to do is look at my YouTube-only content and look at the ratings and look at the views and look at the likes, dislikes, all that stuff to know that is preferred by most of my YouTube audience. But a lot of people also like the YouTube exports. Like, this is probably going to be a YouTube export. It's a long freaking game. But this might end up being a YouTube export if the end of the game is good. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Warrior and Hisu, thank you both for the new Prime subs. Thanks for the support, guys. See, onagers can work if you get numbers. Alright, so Balky did onage through the trees. Thank God. And Gray is attempting to defend from behind these walls, which can buy himself a lot of time. Well, Hisu, welcome. We are 2 hours and 13 game time minutes into a Fatslob Nothing game. And Frang was just defeated down here. Which comes as no surprise, right? Gray has 17,000 gold, tons of resources. Teal probably has more, he does. Now I wonder what Teal decides to do, because he's had a, air quotes, alliance with Gray. But Gray is the captain now. Gray's the one with all the power. He's also walled up to keep Teal out. Will they work together, or will they turn on each other? I think they'll have to turn. Check Red's king. Oh! Sivat is dead! Sivat is dead! Purple just turned on him. Oh, poor guy. Oh my god! Okay, well, at least the onagers killed the Arbs later. Purple just slid right in and slid right into his DMs and killed the king. I guess Sivat was also turning around with Pike Ram to go after Purple. Poor Sivat. I feel like we barely talked about him in this game. He was the furthest away. But this is common. Players are gonna butt hits going to the center. This is what Fatslob does, right? He wants you to waste resources. Oedipus is doing exactly what Fatslob would do.
I have been practicing my hotkeys and build orders more. I am determined to fight my way out of the new player lobby. Wish me luck, smile.
Nice. Fatslob, honestly, just knowing hotkeys and getting a standard build order down from Dark Age to Feudal Age is half the battle. Half the battle of going from a complete noob to a solid mid-level player. I was watching 16 and 1700 players recently, and their build orders were off. And I was thinking, wow, they got to this rating with build orders that are off? So yeah, practicing those things could be a huge help. Sivat. I feel bad. I feel Sivat about this. See, purple and yellow are struggling to get into the center because they spent that time fighting, but they are close now. This is going to be much better than the original Fatslob Nothing game because it won't just be one person in the middle. Teal says, okay, you win it, Gray. I tried to defend you. Delete those walls. Gray, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. He just wants you to delete the walls. Don't do it. Leave the walls up. That's a really good strategy. Say, hey, I'm gonna let you win. I need to fight with you, so delete all your fortifications. Hey, Balky's almost through. 240 years. Thank you, Fatslob, for the 25. I didn't realize that was 25. That's really nice of you, man. Fatslob, you've been a huge supporter of mine. If you ever play a game in the NPL where you're struggling and you're like, what did I do wrong? Send me a rec on Discord, and I'll try and watch it real quick and give you some tips, alright? I don't extend that offer to everyone, because I would never be able to do anything else, because there's a lot of people out there, but thank you for everything, man. I am so ready to see units get flattened. I am so ready to see units get flattened. These rams are gonna get flattened, literally flattened.
Tried MBL's 1130 Castle
Boom.
Age. It actually was my latest Castle Age ever. Thanks T90.
What? Jones? How did you get your latest castle time with Mongol Hunt? No worries. That was a pretty sick castle time from MBL. The best part about that was how some people were still in Dark Age when he hit castle. That was the best part about it. Like, MBL hit Castle Age at 11 minutes 30 seconds, and I think Memp had like 25 minutes that game. It was unreal difference. Well, this is now opened up. So you can't just defend with onagers, Gray. Berserks will now come into play. And Balky's in a very nice position. He has his own scorpions. I also really love this path that he cut. It's really satisfying how straight it is. Oh. Oh my god. Purple is running with his king, and he will probably die. And I'm sure CVAD will be happy to see that. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You can't put kings and rams. Don't ask me why. They ate one too many cheeseburgers? I don't know. And now purple's defeated. Teal is gonna turn on gray. Oh, you know what? He might not. Because gray, it doesn't have the center anymore. So maybe not. Maybe he has more reason to ram through here and go after Balky. Yellow's pretty close. Gray's close. Teal is close. There's just 4 players left. Oh, Jones, you lost villagers because you're trying to be fancy. Yeah. That's something you don't realize how difficult it is to use the scout and to use the villagers like that without loom until you try it yourself. Yep. Keep in mind, he was doing it during a laggy 4v4 Black Forest game as well. It's not like he was doing it versus AI. It's satisfying how straight it is. T90, was that a sexist comment? It wasn't a sexist comment. It was a sexy comment, possibly. Nothing sexist about that. Now, I saw Gray delete his market earlier. Teal says market, like he demands a market when he has 27,000 gold. Dude, just delete your trade. You really do not need that many trade carts when you have 27,000 gold. Oh my god, guys! Do you notice what Teal's doing here? He has onagers sitting right next to where that tower is. You see that sneaky move that Gray pulled? He has a tower behind the castle. See the roof of it? I don't know if Teal is doing this intentionally, but he could use the attack ground to kill that king. And Gray would never get an attack notification. Yeah, YouTube wanted me to try to do that. I'm pretty certain that if I were to do a few attempts, I could get below MBL's time, but that'd be with, like, no lag, obviously. And I'd have to somehow make a map where the boars were the same distance apart. It'd be rough. Because what do you do, 19 population? I think the earliest you could do is like 17, so you'd have to go 15 plus 2, and you'd have to, it'd be rough. The most impressive thing about MBL's time was not just the time to Castle Age, but he was able to sustain villager production out of all of his extra town centers after the fact. That's the most impressive thing. The castle time itself, I could beat that. Could I keep 3 or 4 town centers sustaining off of mainly hunts? At that stage of the game, unlikely. Man, I'm sure if I practiced it, I could do it, but just random game? No, it'd be tough. With lag? Okay, so this is now open. Alright? That timeline that game was crazy. I know! It was ridiculous. He had the 3 or 4 times someone else's timeline at 30 or 40 minutes. 95 years. This is the final countdown. Well, not really the final countdown, because I don't think that Gray will hold it. Not just yet, anyway. Oh! Oh god, the trebuchets! Move the trebuchets! This is going to desensitize us to onager violence. The first couple times, it's amazing, and then you just get used to it. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to get used to this. This is going to be amazing. Oh, that shot, though. I like Teal's strategy of deploying the trebs from behind. That's a good move. So, currently we have Teal allied with Gray. And then yellow, he's on his own. Green, he's on his own. So it's a 2v1v1 at the moment. But we don't know how long it's going to stay that way. I think only one player can win. Teal did say he was going to defend gray, but I would like to see him turn on gray. I think that'd make things more interesting. Hey T90, today was a very hard day for me, and this stream helped so much. You're welcome. Glad to hear it. I wouldn't stream if I wasn't in the mood to be positive. Because I know how it goes. Oh, wait! Okay, Ninja's just enemied everybody. I know how it goes, man. I have rough days as well. Don't stress it. Tomorrow's a new day. I really would like Teal to turn on gray. The funny thing is, if he helps gray win the game, gray was talking behind Teal's back, and Teal has no clue. Remember, Oedipus was talking to Blue about teaming up against Teal. And Teal just thinks that gray has been a faithful ally, but that's not true at all. I mean, Balky has resources, he's working on pumping out units. Yellow has resources. They don't have near as much as gray and Teal do, though. Wait! They just turned on each other. They just turned on each other. Teal turned on gray. This is what I wanted to see. I think Teal could win this. Gray needs to get his berserks in the center. This is all clumped up. Oh, wait, the king! Oh, the king is on the move! I completely forgot about the kings for a second. Teal tried to snipe his king. And now the king is running towards the center. 16 years remaining. You have to keep units in the center, Gray. His king is in this castle. Can Oedipus hold on? There's onagers here. There's berserks. There's everything Fatslob would want. Oh, the berserks. Oh, he is lucky. He's lucky Balky didn't fire. I think Gray can do this now. Wow. What a save. Still could easily lose this. 5 years. Mainly onagers and rams coming in. Okay, Oedipus is going to be blue now. I'm changing him to blue. Oh, he won the game. He didn't have a lot left. This is all he had left. It actually scared me when I saw Teal's trade come in. Teal's trade cards freaked me out. I thought that was something else. Was this AoE 1 now? These chariot archers? He had a total of like 10 or 11 units in the center. It was 72 population for him. He would have been wiped up. There was no way back for him if he lost there. Congratulations, Oedipus, man. Again, I think Teal could have gone a bit earlier, but he had the right idea sniping the king instead of going for the center, possibly. If he snipes the king, then the center is his and his alone. How to sum that up? I don't know. It's Fatslob Nothing. I don't know what everybody expected. This is pretty much what you would have expected going into it. Lots of walls, lots of headaches to get through the walls, and then lots of death and the choke points created once the walls get battered down. Fatslob Nothing. The first Fatslob Nothing we did was a year ago. I'm pulling up the exact date. Well, I don't have it anymore. It was a year ago, and maybe we'll do that next year. Because there won't be that much variety in these types of games. 726 kills for Schneider. It was still what I'd consider a good game, though, because we had lots of fun things to talk about. 63k gold for Teal. Again, he had 20k resources in the bank at the end. He didn't make the move fast enough. I think it hurt yellow to attack purple. I think it hurt orange to attack blue. The players who were their strongest were the players who were allied with someone until they got to the center. That's why Teal and Gray were able to have so much success with their military.